52 lakhs, that's what one NRI paid as penalty, not for fraud, not for black money, for deposit he simply forgot about. Today we are talking about 5 costliest NRI penalties that real Indians have paid and how you can actually make sure you never become one of them. This is what nobody tells you about becoming an NRI, and this actually applies even for foreign citizens with PIO and OCI card. The moment you step out of India for work, the rules governing your money change completely. That savings account you had since college, technically illegal to use. The farmland your father wants you to invest in, you could be fined more than the land is worth. And that fixed deposit you opened years ago and forgot about, it could silently be building a penalty for decades actually. The worst part, banks won't stop you, the system won't alert you. Everything keeps working normally until one day a notice shows up. And here's what shocked me when I dug into enforcement data. A large number of NRI penalties under FEMA don't come from fraud. They actually come from paperwork. Simple mistakes that look completely harmless. See, FEMA, the Foreign Exchange Management Act, does not care about your intentions. It does not ask, did you mean to break the rule? It only asks, did you follow the rule? And these rules, they're not something most people hear about until it's too late. So, whether you're already an NRI, planning to move to abroad, or recently returned to India, this is a conversation you genuinely cannot afford to miss. By the way, I'm Nikhil. I'm a chartered accountant by profession with nearly 2 decades of experience with EY, PwC, and one of India's top wealth management firm before launching my own startup. And this is Finicky, where I simplify money the same way I practice it. Stay with me till the end because all mistakes we are discussing today quietly destroys a large amount of money. Now, let's get into these 5 penalties. I'll show you exactly what went wrong in each case, how much it costs, and most importantly, how you can avoid the same next time. Penalty number 1, the savings account trap. Let's start with the most common mistake, and honestly, this one catches almost everyone. Meet Rahul, not his real name, but his story is real. Rahul moved to Singapore for a tech job. Great salary, exciting opportunities. His Indian savings account, he didn't think twice about it. Why would he actually, right? He had worked fine for 15 years, so life continued. His SIPs ran automatically, credit card bills got paid on time, rent from his Bangalore flat got deposited every single month. Nothing broke, nothing felt wrong. But here's what Rahul didn't know. Under FEMA, the definition of resident isn't emotional, it isn't practical, it's purely legal. The moment you qualify as an NRI, based on how long you've stayed outside of India, you're no longer permitted to operate a resident savings account. That account must be converted to an NRO account. All foreign incomes must now flow through NRI or FCNR accounts. Now let me show you why this actually matters. Rahul earned about 60 lakhs a year in Singapore. Every year he sent back 25 lakhs to India for his parents, for his investments, just to keep some money at home. This money went into his old savings account. He did this for 5 years. That's 1.25 crores in transaction. Clean money, fully taxed, honestly earned. But every single credit, a FEMA violation. When it finally caught up with him, Rahul was fined 75,000. That sounds manageable, right? But wait for this. This is where it got even more trickier because the account structure was wrong. Close to 39 lakhs in that account lost its repatriation eligibility, meaning he couldn't legally send his money back to Singapore. Money he earned, money he paid taxes on, fully locked. Think about that for a second. This mistake is so dangerous because the bank doesn't stop you. The system allows the violation to continue silently for years, but the liability, that's entirely yours. The fix is very simple. The moment you qualify as an NRI, inform your bank. Convert your resident savings account into NRO account. Keep foreign income flowing into NRE or FCNR accounts. Use NRO account only for Indian incomes, rents, dividends, and that sort of things. One conversion done right, done on time, problem solved forever. Penalty 2, the Hawala trap. Second penalty, and this one usually starts with a friendly offer. By why are you paying bank charges? I can get you a better rate. Someone offers you a better exchange rate than your bank. Maybe they promise you instant delivery to your family's doorstep. The amount feels small, just a few lakhs. Why would anyone care about this? But FEMA doesn't care about the amount. If the channel is illegal, the transaction is illegal. Hawala and any form of informal transfer are completely prohibited under FEMA. Doesn't matter if the money was legally earned, doesn't matter if you paid tax abroad, doesn't matter if it was meant for your mother's medical bills. The transaction becomes illegal the moment it bypasses authorized banking channels. Let me show you how bad this can actually get. One NRI sent about 5 lakhs every year through an informal route, better rate, faster transfer, no paperwork. He did this for 4 years. Total transfer 20 lakhs. When authorities caught up, they imposed a 15 lakh fine and confiscated 7 lakhs. Total loss 22 lakhs, more than he even transferred in the first place. If this is helping you see NRI money clearly, hit the like button and subscribe. It's a small action, but it tells me this kind of practical real world content is useful and keeps me motivating to make more for you. Now here's what shocks most people about Hawala cases. Documentation won't help you. Salary slips won't help you. Tax returns irrelevant. Employee contracts doesn't matter. FEMA doesn't ask, was that money clean? It asks, did you use the right channel? Even one informal transfer can expose your entire financial history to scrutiny. So what's the fix? Discipline, not complexity. Always use the authorized banking channels, even if the rate looks slightly worse. That small difference, think of it as an insurance. No exchange rate saving is worth a FEMA case. Third penalty, property. And this is where misinformation destroys people. Here's what FEMA clearly says. NRIs cannot purchase agricultural land, plantation land, or farmhouses in India. But here's where confusion creeps in. NRIs can inherit such land. So people naturally assume if I can inherit it, surely I can buy it too. Wrong, completely different rules. Picture this scenario. An NRI spots a farmland near developing highway, 25 lakhs today, but infrastructure coming up, it could triple in value. Classic investment play, right? So he buys it. So everything looks fine for years. Maybe the visits during Diwali trips, the land just sits there appreciating. And then one day, maybe during a sale, loan application, or a legal review, the purchase gets flagged. FEMA violation. Penalty imposed 41 lakhs. The land cost 25 lakhs, the fine was 41 lakhs. And here's what makes property violation terrifying. FEMA penalties can be imposed years after the transaction. Property records don't expire. Land you bought a decade ago, still penalizable today. Most NRIs discover this only when they try to sell. By then, bargaining power is gone. So what's the fix again here? Verify properly property type before you even discuss price. If it's classified as agriculture, plantation, or farmhouse, walk away. Unless it's inherited property, it's completely off limits. When in doubt, get a written opinion from a FEMA-aware lawyer before signing anything. By the way, your family cannot gift the agricultural land as well. You can only inherit it, and no other way you can hold agricultural land unless you bought this before you became an NRI. Now, the fourth penalty, this is the most expensive one we will cover today, 52 lakhs. For something that person completely forgot existed, stay with me. What is it? FCNR accounts. On paper, they're brilliant. They hold money in foreign currency, no exchange rate risk, and while you're an NRI, the interest is tax-free in India. Sounds perfect, right? It is until you forget about it. The problem actually begins when your deposit matures or when your residential status changes. Maybe you move back to India. At that point, the account must be renewed, converted, or closed according to FEMA rules. But what do most people do? Nothing. The deposit just sits there, incorrectly structured year after year, silently accumulating non-compliance. I wasn't exaggerating in the opening. One real case, a FCNR violation that continued for 24 years of doing nothing. When authorities finally examined it, penalty imposed was more than 50 lakhs. Why so massive penalties? FEMA allows penalties up to 3 times the amount involved. While I've practically not seen 3 times being practically levied, but let's see, when violations continue year after year, the exposure actually multiplies. FEMA doesn't forget. Time doesn't heal these mistakes, and time makes them exponentially more expensive. So again, what's the fix? Treat FCNR account as active commitments, not set and forget products. track maturity dates, reassess whenever your residential status changes. One annual review, that's all it takes to avoid a mistake that compounds for decades. Fifth penalty and final penalty, and this actually comes from a belief that destroys more NRI wealth than anything else. It happened so long ago, they won't look at it now. Here's the reality. Under FEMA, there's no statute of limitation. None. A violation from 15 years ago can be examined and penalized even today. Mixed up resident and NRI funds somewhere in the past, ignored repatriation limits, never corrected an old mistake, authorities can quantify penalties decades later. That is why compounding becomes crucial. Compounding in this context isn't about interest, it's the legal process where you voluntarily disclose violations, pay a defined penalty, and close the matter permanently. Think of it as coming clean on your own terms. When people delay, when they hope old mistakes will just disappear, the final cost explodes. Here's a pattern I've seen again and again. Most NRIs who lose big don't lose because of the massive illegal act, they lose because of small mistakes repeated for years and never corrected. And what's the fix here also? Early correction. If something in your past might not be compliant, address it proactively. Don't wait for detection. Fixing a mistake voluntarily is almost always cheaper and cleaner than fixing it after a notice arrives. Alright, let's do a recap. 5 mistakes that can quietly destroy your financial stability as an NRI. 1. Using old savings account after becoming an NRI. 2. Sending money through informal channels. 3. Buying agricultural lands or farmlands. 4. Forgetting about FCNR deposits after you return. And 5. Assuming old mistakes don't matter anymore. None of these involve black money, none of these involves criminal intent. They happen because compliance was treated as an afterthought. Here's the pattern. Most NRI penalties aren't caused by illegal money, they're caused by ignored structure. The right accounts, legal channels, verified property types, timely reviews, early correction, 5 things, that's it. And they solve almost every problem we have discussed today. I know this felt heavy, compliance talks usually does. But here's the thing, the solutions are genuinely simple. It's not about being paranoid, it's actually about being organized. If you're an NRI watching this, take this as your signal. Pause, review your finances, not tomorrow, not next month, now. Drop your questions in the comments. I'll read every single one and reply personally. And do me a favor, share this video. Send it to that friend in US, that cousin in Dubai, that colleague in Singapore, that batchmate in London, because in NRI finance, ignorance isn't risky, it's expensive. But, and this is the good news, it's completely avoidable. That's it from me. I'm Nikhil. Subscribe to learn how to make your finances less tricky with Finicky. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.